I'm going to review the business procedures. There's a presentation here that we just didn't get to during our pre-service day. So here is the business procedures manual presentation. General fund and student activity funds are considered public funds governed by state law and board policy. So we have strict accounting guidelines under school district funds, which is why we're taking the time to review this. This manual can be found under the following link. If you go to urbandaleschools.com, business services, there's a presentation link there. Also, it can be accessed through Frontline. With bids, so if we are purchasing items at a building level, a district level, whatever it might be, there are different levels of approval that are required based on the amount of the purchase. So if we're purchasing a projector for the gym or a screen, that range might fall within this. So that means that I have to work with those individuals to make sure we have bids for at least 2 different suppliers before deciding on which one to go with for the purchase. Purchase orders, so this comes into play when we talk about P cards. Basically what happens is Robin creates a requisition online. I approve that with the same online system that gets then generated to the board office or business office, and then a purchase order is created, and then the approval purchase can occur. So there's a process here that we can't just go to a store anymore and use a P card and then turn in the receipt. It must first have a requisition that's generated online and approved before a P card can be used. A credit card, basically, that's owned by the district. That's what a P card is. A few things on fundraisers. This has impacted our PTO a lot. Just making sure that we understand what we can and cannot do under the district umbrella. Basically, students can raise funds with the permission of the principal. Each fundraiser has to have a specific purpose that is articulated clearly to students and parents and staff. And funds that are raised must be used for co-curricular or extracurricular activities. We can't use those funds for purchase of things that are part of the general budget, instructional types of materials, for example. Guidelines for fundraising. I've already reviewed the first few. We must have a specific amount that we're trying to raise, but we can't say that it's a requirement. It's just a goal, basically. Rewards for students. Monetary rewards and food are not permitted as rewards, so we can't have a pizza party if students reach their goal for something. Also, we can't single kids out for raising money to a certain level like we might have done in the past. We must have accurate accounting of merchandise and funds. We have to have deposits that are made daily, and deposit sheets must also be completed. So any types of forms that are required, those are all linked throughout this procedures manual presentation. So if we're going to be ordering t-shirts, or if PTO wants to sell t-shirts to family members, staff members, they can't order bulk amounts of t-shirts and then sell them. They have to have the orders and money collected first and then complete the order with that vendor. So again, some of this is trying to determine exactly what we'll need, but really we can't just order the bulk ahead of time. You have to have it paid for before submitting the purchase order for the entire order. So again, here are the forms for that. Travel. This is the piece that relates mostly to teachers. So if you're going to a conference, there are a few things you need to make sure of. Itemized original receipts that detail the cost incurred are required. So there is a meal expense travel reconciliation form that has breakdown of everything here. There's also a mileage reimbursement claim that is required to be completed after travel within 30 days. Tips can't be more than 20% when using a P card, and any type of alcohol that's purchased must be purchased by the individual on a separate receipt. Otherwise, none of that will be reimbursed if it's all included on the same receipt. A lot of times I will be the one with the P card when we're taking a larger trip with several staff members to a conference, for example. I'll be the one to handle all of that, but there are times when a smaller number of staff members go to a conference, even if it's for a day, that these same expectations need to be followed. Gifts and donations, so those become property of the district. We need to make sure that the donation account is connected to those gifts, that I communicate closely with the district office that we received a donation and that the correct account code is applied to that. Healthy Kids Act, we have reviewed some of this as part of our pre-service time, but basically fundraising items for sale and fundraisers should promote healthy food and beverages. Staff must model the Food and Beverage Healthy Kids Act. Beverages need to be in an unmarked container. And then classroom snack consumption. If it's for celebratory reasons, it must be done after lunch. Snacks that are provided by the school need to meet those healthy guidelines if they're before 4 p.m. And snacks need to be confined within the classroom. If students bring those from home, they do not have to meet the Healthy Guidelines Act, but parents are encouraged to pack snacks that the kids bring that are healthy. So some miscellaneous things regarding grants. Grants have to be in close communication with the district office if we do receive a grant. For example, the United Way Reading Camp grant that we have gotten every year. An agreement is signed and submitted into board notes so they understand where the money is coming from. We cannot give gift cards or certificates to staff or students for any reason. Donations, we cannot make donations to other nonprofits unless we identified that purpose prior to raising the funds. And personal responsibility is held if failure to follow any of these guidelines exists. So frequently asked questions, there are lots of questions that come up. They've captured just a few of those. Any questions that you have, is this still allowed, is it not, what do we do in this circumstance, please come and ask me. A lot of times I will forward questions directly to the business office and they will let me know if we need to adjust any of our practices. Things have worked out pretty smoothly, and we haven't had to adjust a lot of things in the way we've done business before. This is just something that keeps us in check with policies. There's a checks and balances system that I really appreciate to make sure that we're following guidelines. This last little piece here, these are all the forms that are linked relating to the different parts of the Business Procedures Manual. You may or may not use any of these except for maybe the travel piece here, but at least you're aware of all those parts. Thank you very much.